This is a big day, certainly, for Indians and those of Indian origin in Britain. Is there celebrations or is there mixed nervousness because UK has tough time ahead because of its stormy economic weather, and that makes the new UK Prime Minister's role even more tough?
I think it's a complex question, to gauge how the community is reacting to it. For example, in the context of identity politics, it's a great moment. You have a first Asian minister and first Hindu in the parliament who has won who is going to become a prime minister. But in the context of recession and most importantly, inflation and the strike action. So I think there is a kind of skepticism associated to Rishi Sunak because he was a technocrat and, markets have welcomed him. But, welcoming markets is not sufficient. How do you gonna address the concerns of a poor people? Most of the Asian community and South Asians in particular are a working class and middle classes. So these communities are very skeptical about Rishi Sunak's economic plans because, in previous debates, he never spoke about that, but he was emphasizing on attacking the trade union movement and bringing harsh trade union laws. So with regards to the working class, it's very skeptical, with regards to Rishi Sunak's intention, because there are huge controversies about his rich background, how he gonna, and particularly associated with, tax breaks, which he gonna use for his wife. So these are the controversies which clouds the working class imagination, particularly when I was on the RMT picket lines. A lot of the working class people were saying Rishi Sunak is a rich man, he's an investment banker, how are we going to address his concerns? So I think these challenges he need to address immediately. But I don't see anywhere he's going in that direction because his past record of attacking trade union movement and working classes makes me a skeptic that he gonna resolve the inflation crisis and the upcoming class conflict in the form of trade union strikes. But he has achieved a very good combination because, you have a Northern England support. The members of parliament of Northern England support, and you have conservatives and the center leftists in the Tory party. So he could able to mobilize a very good combination which can stabilize the Conservative Party. Apart from stabilizing these elites and different groups within the Conservative Party, he does he has to overcome the challenges when it comes to the recession, inflation, and the working class. Yeah.
Yes, and Maximilian Hess, the challenges when you look at it. Of course, this is a big moment as far as the culture, the history, and the identity politics, of course, as he highlighted rightly, I would say Arun highlighted rightly, is concerned. But the big challenge, of course, is economics here. And given the kind of challenges that is being witnessed in several European countries, from France to Germany, it is going to be tough.
Yes, I certainly agree with some of the statements about the politics of class issues in the UK. Racial politics are a matter of concern in the UK, but I don't think that will be a significant challenge facing Rishi Sunak. In fact, I think there will be a lot of groundswell of goodwill for him. But those identity politics issues don't affect the economic reality in any way. And that's where Sunak faces real challenges, as we've already discussed, with the falling value of the pound, high yields, causing a real mortgage crisis potentially here as well. And then his predecessor, Liz Truss, announcing that energy price cap will only exist for 6 months. So now he has to come up with a new energy policy as well. But one other factor that will be challenging him is disquiet within the Conservative Party. While we have seen now the Conservatives unite behind him with Penny Mordaunt standing down, I thought Boris Johnson's statement yesterday was almost disgraceful and childish. He said that he was uniquely positioned to avoid a general election. We've now seen briefing from some of his allies, Zach Goldsmith in the House of Lords and Nadine Dorries, another Conservative MP, effectively saying that they're for an early election. Now, of course, the Labour and opposition parties would love an early election because there's still 30 points ahead in the poll. That may come down a little bit over the coming days as Rishi Sunak has those good feelings that we talked about. But while I think the majority of the Conservative Party is behind him, Boris Johnson remains a very charismatic figure, but also a figure who consistently and insistently puts himself before the country. So if we see sort of destabilization or an attempt by Boris to get his revenge, he feels that Rishi Sunak's resignation was one of the key moments that led to his own resignation earlier this year. That could be destabilizing as well. And I don't think, we'll see Sunak do the kind of actions that Boris himself did, where he expels, critics from the parliamentary party, because he hasn't consolidated that support yet. There are other issues with the former Liz Truss supporters, some of whom did endorse him, Priti Patel, Suella Braverman, but, they are far more to the right on a number of issues, including migration in Braverman's case and Priti Patel's case, that could lead to, tensions within the party over the coming weeks and months as well. Rishi Sunak is, now the sixth prime minister since Brexit. So, while we hope for stability and return to some of that British normalcy, I wouldn't expect it yet.
It was unexpected, would you say, Arun? And, given how close he was last time around in that race with Liz Truss and still lost to her, was this, the Indians largely were being careful of not having any kind of premature celebrations?
When it comes to the Liz Truss, I think, there's a strong perception that, she has only got one third of, Tory membership, not membership, I mean, the parliamentarian support, and people are waiting for the moment, to overthrow her, because it was a very weak coalition. You have a centrist completely dissociated from Truss, and you have Northerners, who's not even supporting Truss, and they were backing Johnson. So she was standing on a weak coalition, and she took this libertarian right-wing economic policies, which made her immediately popular. So people were waiting for this movement, and there is a leadership vacuum, and most of the conservatives are discredited. So in that sense, it's an amazing chance for Rishi Sunak to to revive the electoral fortunes, because he has a good reputation among the markets, but he needs to translate those good reputation among the working class masses and those people who are struggling with inflation. So in that regards, it's not shocking, because he was a leadership person, who has capacities, and he was leading various roles as a chancellor. So he was a potential candidate, and thank God, he has come to the he has come forefront to the role to lead it, and hope we can see that, what he can does in the future.
All right. Sanjay, I can see you're back with us. Sanjay, what should we expect in the next 24 hours?
Well, a certain visit to the palace. Rishi Sunak is going to visit Buckingham Palace. And this, as we have seen now, we've had a good chance to look at how this choreography works for all the wrong reasons. Liz Truss had gone to the Queen, and she was appointed Prime Minister shortly after Boris Johnson resigned. So we will see something similar now. Liz Truss now going in and handing in her resignation, to be followed by Rishi Sunak going to King Charles to then be invited to form government. The current expectation is that will take place at some point tomorrow rather than later today. This is a